this warrants him. He is a war criminal. But we have to gather the information. We have to continue to provide Ukraine with the weapons they need to continue the fight. And we have to gather all the detail so this can be have a war crime trial. This guy is brutal. And what's happening in Bucha is outrageous. And everyone's seen it.
So right there, and there's a lot more of that if you want to see. Joe Biden had identified that Vladimir Putin and the Russian forces were committing war crimes. I don't see how that's disputable in literally any way. He points out that this is an example of that and is now at least informally calling for the beginnings of what could be an actual investigation, a trial on war crimes. Fairly toothless because of course Putin is never going to offer himself up to any sort of international tribunal or anything like that. But this is a very serious thing, not only with the massacre in Bucha, but Human Rights Watch and other groups have documented cases of alleged rape by Russian troops. Again, hardly surprising. This is an illegal, barbaric war, but disgusting, and something does need to be done. I don't necessarily have a lot of hopes, Francesca, that anything like legal in the international sense is going to solve this problem. But I do think it's important for us to state what our values for, if only in the hope that then we will comply with them a little bit more readily than we have in our past conflicts.
I think that's exactly right. I think that's super on the money. I think that we're in an interesting moment when it comes to US foreign policy. We understand that we are no longer sort of the world superpower and the global cop, which has gotten us into a lot of trouble and awful ventures in the past. Hello, Afghanistan and Iraq and many other places. So we're in a new moment, but the answer to that new moment isn't allowing and sort of green lighting a bunch of other authoritarian leaders to carry out their own insane ventures that kill massive amounts of civilians. So what is the way forward? And for sure, strengthening the international community, as toothless as we have helped render it in the past, is a way forward. And so I think we can walk and chew gum. I think we can say we've done these awful things in the past, but we also need to move forward, and we also need to make sure to hold people accountable. After Putin, I mean, Bush is still alive, y'all. Like, Cheney has no heart, and it is still alive.
It's still moving, at least. It's alive in certain definitions of the word.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. And many people will respond to, like, especially the people who feel reflexively the need to defend Putin against totally valid criticism of the terrible things he's doing fully in public view. Will say, well, if you investigate him, you'll have to investigate the others. Good.
Yeah.
Let's create that world and dive right into it. I would love for our leaders to be terrified of committing war crimes because of a belief that there would be consequences. I don't believe that there will be. I don't think we live in that world just yet, but let's work on it. Let's move in that direction. And I understand this is gonna be a weird thing to contrast what you just saw, but like what Biden is talking about is something that is real, that I think of all of what he's doing as president, this is probably the area where I think for the most part he is doing the best job. We have not gotten into a shooting war with Russia 1 month in, so good job there. And then you have the commentators, of which we're a group, me and Francesca, we're trying to be responsible and humble about our lack of prior expertise in the area, that sort of thing. We're trying to do all of that. And then you have places like the New York Times, the paper of record, where people like Thomas Friedman have a job for life, like a Supreme Court justice, publishing op-eds like yesterday, Ukraine is the first real world war. Why? Why is that the thing that, now look, he seems to get, based on the criticism he's gotten, that that's a bad take. Because if you go to it now, it's titled, Putin had no clue how many of us would be watching. But like the defense that seems to be implicit in that changes, wouldn't know, but I don't mean that it's the first real war, man. What I mean is that like everyone's paying attention to it. I think they were paying attention to the other ones too, World War I and II. If the point you want to make is that Saudi Arabia gets away with an insane amount in Yemen because people aren't properly paying attention, or that there wasn't enough focus on what was going on in Syria, when I think there was actually quite a bit of focus on what was going on in Syria, or Afghanistan, Iraq. I understand people were fatigued after years, paying less attention, but Francesca, it just isn't necessary. I get that he's got to post something every couple days or whatever, but is that the way? Is that the way?
It's Thomas Friedman. It's the New York Times op-ed page. It is the ninth circle of hell. It is the place. It's just like the place where contrarians go to collect a giant paycheck and like get clicks. And I'm surprised he didn't work the word woke into that somehow. And even the new title is offensive as hell. Now we're paying attention. Excuse me, like I worked in a newsroom during the Syrian civil war. We watched and cut videos every single day of children. Remember the young boy washing up onto a beach? We all saw that. We all scrolled past that as we were like, well, guess there's nothing we can do. And look, I am totally not for, a hot war in Syria. But man, we all saw that with eyes wide open. So don't say this is the first time we're paying attention. Assad and Putin knew that we were all looking at it and they were like, yeah, we're gonna keep doing this.
Yeah, it feels like, do you all remember, this is gonna be weird. Do you all remember when the ocean was on fire? You remember that? Like you forgot about that, didn't you? When the ocean was on fire.
Oh, I remember it was like really, really pretty. I mean,
it was
scary.
It was kind of weirdly pretty. Like you kind of want to run away from it and you kind of want to dive into it. But anyway, it would be like if me, a person who desperately wants people to pay attention to the devastation of our environment in a variety of forms, is like, that's the first truly world war. I mean, sorry, people are paying attention to climate change. You don't gotta do it. And anyway, New York Times, be better. Maybe aspire to be best. Be best, New York Times. That's not the way. Anyway, okay, so look, they're gonna look in. We're gonna get more facts about what happened there. We're gonna get more facts if I can just predict about other massacres of civilians. As if, the random bombardment via cruise missile and artillery of civilian centers isn't bad enough. Now the targeted systematic murder, execution of civilians. Devastating, absolutely devastating. We're gonna be watching. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.